November 16th. Oh my God, it always takes me a second to realize what day it is. It is in fact Friday, November 16th, and like most Fridays, I am going to talk about video game news, and we got a lot of stuff to get through this week. A lot of stuff happened this week. So yeah, if I don't give any article the time and dedication that you think it deserves, then I apologize. But let's start. Let's dive right into it. So I usually have a big centerpiece thing that happens every week. This week there was just a lot of video games that launched. So let's go ahead and talk through those. I think the first one to launch this week is Hitman 2. I've been following this for a while. I saw it at the pre-E3 thing as well as at E3. I thought it looked okay. I liked the pre-order bonus of the Sniper Assassin mode. I thought that looked really fun. Um, yeah, and then I slowly followed it. I was excited that it was a full released game and not the episodic that it was before. Um, I don't think the Hitman story kind of. I could see how it could lend itself to the episodic way that the story was going, but I just glad that you get. I think games are slightly more successful when they launch as a big game all at once. I think the episodics you trail off. You either get the people who buy it, um, who buy it, who buy the first one just to try it, and then when time stretches on, they die over time as less and less people get interested or lose interest. It's hard to go back to it. Um, so yeah, main game. I'm glad it's all one big game. I watched the trailer. The one that caught my eye, I think I talked to you guys about. It was oh, it was the trailer that showed like if you leave a body around in real time, it'll show someone finding the body, and it'll like show up on the screen. And I just thought that's a cool way to iterate, increase like gameplay, quality of life things. Because I know it's really frustrating in stealth games when you get caught and you don't know why you get caught, and people just show up and surround you and kill you. Um, so really exciting to see that. Um, so I really like that trailer, and then all of the Sean Bean stuff that's been coming up, super primo, so funny. The meta joke of Sean Bean never dies, and then using him in a Hitman game is just, so good. So yeah, game looks super cool. I am excited to play it. But as I will talk about it later, there's just a lot of games coming out right now, so the window just doesn't lend me to playing it right now, but hopefully I do get around to playing it soon. So, Hitman, that was Tuesday, so now we're up to Wednesday, and on Wednesday, Fallout 76 launched, and I am so excited. I've been playing this for hours and hours, if you guys have seen. Just super excited to play it. I went into it expecting Fallout 4, but multiplayer, and that's pretty much what I got. As with most MMO games, and I do kind of feel like this is in the MMO genre, as most MMOs, uh, it all depends on, or multiplayer games in general, it all depends on who you're playing with, and I just enjoy playing this game with my friends. I do think it might get crowded if we had like 16 players, 16 friends playing all at once. Could get a little rambunctious, but I've got a nice solid stack of 4 friends who I've been playing with, and I'm finding it really fun. I do think that I understand the criticism of the distinct lack of NPCs. There aren't any. There's like 2 or 3 robots that you can like trade with, but they're not really people you can interact with. And if you went into it thinking like, oh, that's gonna suck, or there's gonna be no NPCs, there's no way to interact with anybody, I think my counter to that is that there's a lot of like tapes you can pick up in the world, and it feels like because you're like constantly finding these tapes and reading these stories, it feels like people are there. They're just dead, and you're just kind of like reliving their story step by step. It's a little bit different way of telling a story, but I think it works. And I'm biased, as you can tell. I'm a super diehard Fallout fan with my dog meat. And my helmet. I am just a super diehard Fallout fan. So, um, so yeah, if if you were just a single player, I might recommend you just go back and play Fallout 4. It's a great game. Um, I think this one, I don't know if this one's exclusively for multiplayers, but I think that's the way to play it, and it's more fun that way. Great, so that was Fallout. That was Wednesday. God, I'm gonna mess it up. So much crap happened this week that I believe Wednesday was the day that we got the we got the news that Stan Lee, after 95 years, had passed away, and you know, as someone who's grown up, you know, just not envious, but idolizing superheroes, he did so much um, to change what it means to be a superhero, to add character to these people in these stories, and just wanted to give a moment of silence to Stan Lee because he was a real life superhero. Well, Excelsior, um, and yeah, let's go ahead and move on if we can even go anywhere from there. Um, so another game that launched this week was Pokemon Let's Go, launched today. I think all of these have been. Fallout doesn't have a rating, but both Pokemon and Hitman 2 have an 82 Metacritic. So that's cool. So they're both relatively decent games, according to critics, if you believe them. Pokemon Let's Go. I kind of went into this skeptical. I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be anywhere from a fully realized Pokemon RPG for the Nintendo Switch and Pokemon Go for the Switch. I thought it was just going to be a mobile port onto the Switch and you're just going to play it. And what I found was actually somewhere in the middle. To me, it seems more like it's a up-res of the Game Boy Color's Pokemon Yellow. That's what I'm looking at it as. It looks fun. Um, it has the Pokemon Go catching mechanics. You don't have to battle creatures in order to in order to gain them. You just use the Pokeball peripheral or the Joy-Con to catch the Pokemon, which should be cool. I totally want one of those peripherals so I can have one like hanging on my belt, like a super uber nerd that I am. Um, yeah, and then the Pokemon quality of life upgrades are, besides it looking awesome and beautiful, uh, the the Pokemon aren't RNG as you're running through bushes. I know back in the day, it was like outside of, oh God, I forget which town, the ghost town. Outside of the ghost town, you'd like run around the bushes trying to catch an Abra who would just like sleep you and then teleport away. And that was always fun. Well, that wasn't fun. So now that is not going to happen. You can just see the Pokemon in the world and you just walk up to them and then you Pokeball with them. You can also all the Pokemon you caught on your um, all the Pokemon you caught on Pokemon Go, you can transfer over to Pokemon Let's Go, making that tie-in really really helpful, really impactful. Like to see those. I like to see uh, those cross-platform kind of ties that really help pull it together. Um, so yeah, overall, again, very competitive window. So I don't know when I'll have time to play Pokemon, but I'm looking forward to playing it when I might have time later in December, after I'm done with Smash Bros. Because that's going to take over my life. Um, Great. So those are the big games that launched this week. Don't even have enough time to talk about Spyro, which launched this week, but on to more news. So Sony announced that they are not going to be at E3. I don't even know what that represents. I know they screwed up last year, and maybe they're going to try and reestablish what it means. But there's going to be no PSX this year. Sony's not going to be at E3 next year. And then I saw an article about Square Enix is already making games for the PS5. So I don't know when they're going to talk about the PS5. But the second part of the rumor of Sony not being at E3 is that them being not being at E3 isn't a rumor. That's at least what I've seen. I've got that from a couple sources. I saw a couple sources talking about that. The second part of the rumor is that they're going to announce the PS5 somewhere. But without a PSX or an E3, I don't know when they're going to do it. So yeah, I don't know if they're going to do their own thing. EA does their own thing every year, and maybe Sony's going to do their own thing. Maybe everything's going to be all super spread out and individual. But E3 is such a platform to like talk about games that all eyes are on games at that week. That to be doing something else always seems, I don't know, counterintuitive. Um, I think it's a great platform to talk about video games, to get everybody talking about video games. But if you want to carve out your own window, I bet Sony is going to be able to do it. So that was E3. Sony's not going to be at E3. The video game awards, their nominees are out, so you can go in and vote those. I'll probably have a link in the description below on where you can go to vote for those. I think the video game. I can't even remember. So much crap has happened this week. I can't remember the game of the years were. I think it was Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Red Dead Redemption. Was it Dead Cells or Celeste? Spider-Man? Spider-Man. I think there was a sixth one. I'm really bad at this. But like I've been saying all along, I think God of War is going to be the video game of the year. As much as I enjoyed Red Dead 2, and I'm going to be playing it right after this, I do think God of War will be the video game of the year. And I have been right about the video game of the year 3 years running. So hopefully I can make it this fourth year. What was 2016? Maybe I didn't get 2016, but I had 2015 with Witcher 3. 2016 was, I forget what 2016 was, and then 2017 was Breath of the Wild, and then 2018 is definitely gonna be God of War. Cool video game. Go vote for those because your opinion actually matters. Unlike some kind of Academy Awards type game award show where it's a bunch of stuffy old people telling you what movies you should go watch. This one is voted for by you, so feel free to go in there and vote. I'll have a link in the description below. Xbox had their own PlayStation PSX experience called XO18. I don't even know what it was. That sounds like a terrible name. But I think it's like X118, which is a weird name. Anyway, they had a big old, like kind of PlayStation experience, but they had like one night where they talked about everything that's going on in Microsoft. Big news coming out of that is we have a solid launch date for Crackdown 3, which is 2/15, which is a week before all the other games like Anthem and Metro Exodus are launching. Days Gone got pushed out. So that's cool. We got a confirmed date for Crackdown. The Terry Crews commercial is hilarious, and that will be in a link down below. You owe it to yourself to go watch it. And then they also purchased inXile, which is known for the Wasteland games. It adds more to this idea that I just see Microsoft purchasing like these small PC developers to get them to put stuff on the Xbox. The Xbox, which is getting a mouse and keyboard support, I think that was announced this week, which is crazy. And of course, it's coming to Fortnite and Warframe. It's just nuts. Fortnite gets whatever it wants. People want mouse and keyboard support on their console. Great, give it to them. Fortnite, whatever you want, blank check, here you go. That's crazy. Anything else? Because they already bought, who is it? Microsoft had already purchased Obsidian earlier this year. Those were the developers behind Fallout New Vegas and a couple more of those RPG kind of games. Can't think of. And then Game Pass is getting better, all that kind of stuff. I'll have a one story to rule them all kind of link down below, talking about what came out of that the Microsoft conference. XO's 18. Yeah, so check that out. Tell me what you thought about it. Great. On to the next thing. The Army is starting up an esports team. I thought that was pretty nuts, but I can see it. And they're kind of being pretty blatant about the idea that it's just it's not just. Let's remove the just out of there. The Army, they're using it as a recruiting tactic. to get people to draw people into the army. It seems pretty blatant to me. Of like, I mean, of course the army is recruiting all the time, but just the idea that um, that it's a recruiting tactic to get esports players to join the army seems kind of interesting. But why not? They have football team, they have sports teams in the for the military. Um, yeah, it should be interesting. Great. Saw a trailer this week talking about Vermintide 2. It's coming to PlayStation 4 this December. I'm gonna have to have time to find. I'm gonna have to find time to play that, and I'm gonna have to find a group of friends to play that with. Um, but should be fun. I enjoyed the first one thoroughly. I played it a lot. I enjoyed it so much. Um, yeah, just super excited for it. I enjoy Warhammer and everything it does. I like the first person like melee combat in Vermintide. Just super excited for that. Super excited, always being my keyword and phrase for things that I like. So it should be fun. Vermintide 2 coming this December. I don't know, December 18th? Could be like the last thing coming out this year, which is an interesting statement to say. I can't believe time has flown by so quickly. Last but not least, Battlefield 5 is another game that's launching in this crazy window. I saw a video today talking about from Dave Jewett over at GameSpot, um, talking about how Battlefield 5 is more tactics oriented and less lone wolf single recon shooter kind of kind of gameplay. It's more about small squads or it's more army dependent than it is like one guy doing very well or one person doing very well. Super cool article. I enjoyed listening to it. I hope that's the way most shooters go. Well, I don't know if I do because I'm usually that lone gunman kind who just like runs off when's able to like kill a small squad because I'm using the broken weapon in the meta. Um, but I do hope that more games go that way, more that Overwatch feel. Everybody has to be working together in the same kind of towards the, to to achieve the goals. Um, wow, that came out forced. Yeah, I hope more shooters go the way of more forcing people to be tactical, to work in groups, because that's ultimately what you're trying to get, I think, in a shooter, especially in one called Battlefield. You really want the group to be working together. Um, the video also talked about how how important comms is, which is always important in shooters. Maybe not the ones where you can just solo kill everybody, um, but if you don't have that, then can you not function that way? Is the multiplayer genre in a shooter gonna be um, only for people who squad up and play in teams? It'd be interesting to see, but yeah, crazy. So much stuff happened this week. There'll be a whole slew of articles about Black Friday deals because that's happening a week from today. I don't think there's going to be a news report next week, but I might do a special one on Wednesday and just talk about Black Friday deals and what I'm going to be shopping for. But yeah, so as always, this one went long because so much crap happened this week. It's just so crazy how much stuff was stuffed into this week that it's cool to see so much stuff, so many games. If you didn't buy a game this week, I wonder what are you doing. Maybe you're playing Red Dead 2 and you have no time for any other games, which I fully accept. But if you don't ever purchase any game that launched this week, I don't know what game. You got a lot of bases covered, so I wonder what type of gamer are you that you didn't purchase any of the games that launched this week? But feel free to talk to me about it in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you stopping by. If you're watching this on Friday, you're watching it live on my Twitch channel, and I appreciate you being here. If you're watching this Saturday morning, then you're probably watching this on my YouTube, and I appreciate you being there. Feel free to subscribe and do all the fun stuff that you can do there that's totally free. And yeah, as always, I appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching and listening. And feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the things down below, blah, 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 doobity doo. Thank you. Bye.